Hey everybody, Royal Alliance UK, Matt and Ant coming at you with some Antoine Green tape. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing really good actually. It's nice to be able to do these again because we did these year one when we were doing our pod, and it's like when no one was following us, we did these, and then last year after everyone had started following us, we didn't actually do them. So it's good to be doing them. I find them fun because we talk about prospects a lot and we talk about all this, but you see very few people actually just do a session and watch the tape themselves because a lot of people don't watch college football, and especially when it gets to the late round picks, no one still really knows much about them. So I think it's quite enlightening to do things like this. I'm glad we're doing it again. So it's
Definitely,
fun.
it is fun. It is fun, and I'm glad that all of you people in the chat are with us. If you've got any questions, as always, as we go through, don't forget to let me know. I'm actually monitoring more things than I am normally with everything going on with trying to do this. So if I miss you,
I'm
apologies,
in
but I
the
will get to you.
I'm in the YouTube chat so I can keep an eye on
There
things.
we go. Yeah, please do ask questions. We've tried to focus on, I will say, the highlights and the lowlights, and this is not going to be just a highlight reel of Antoine Green. But this is the first in our series. We're going to do one today, and schedule permitting between me and Ant and anyone else on the Royal Alliance guys who want to join us on this, we're going to try and do two people per weekend, per show, in the next 3 weeks after this one. And that will review all of our draft picks. So hopefully you enjoy this one and it will stimulate you to come and join us for the rest of these. Hello to Brent in the chat, Lions 1960, Michael Brevoort and Carlton Wood. Come and say hi if you're watching along and haven't done already. Let's remind you guys about Antoine Green, what he looks like and what he did. Got my nice graphic here, which I've managed to hide. So let's do that. Antoine Green out of UNC. 90 receptions in his career, 1,710 yards, 15 touchdowns, PFF grade last year, 74.8. He's just a shade under 6'2", about 200 pounds, reasonable RAS score in there of 8.68. Deep ball specialist, great at the catch point, but as it says on there, limited production and route tree. And just as a sort of high level thing, what did you make of Antoine Green, perhaps through the college season before you maybe delved into him a bit? Because I know that you were obviously a fan of Drake May, because who isn't a fan of Drake May? Had a great season, was in the running for the Heisman for a while, and UNC are just a fun team to watch, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I've liked them for the last few years. Going back to Sam Howell when you had Javonte Williams, you had Daz Newsome, all these guys there. They're a very fun offensive team to watch. They've got loads of talent in the NFL recently, and Antoine Green potentially could be there. I mean, he had the Josh Downs syndrome thing last year, whereas Josh Downs took so much of the production. He had double the amount of targets as the next receiver who was Green. He had something stupid like nearly 100 receptions on the year. I think Antoine had like 48, something like that. It was crazy, just sort of the difference there. Downs was the ball hog. Like I say, Antoine Green was the deep threat, but May has got the arm on him there, but he's still to get the deep ball fully going. So there's a good player in there, but like you said, it doesn't show on the stat sheet. So when it doesn't show on the stats, you've got to sort of dive down into the tape a lot more and look at the player and see what he brings to the table. And you know, there's a lot to like, and there's a lot that needs improvement. But that's why you're a seventh round pick in a draft. This guy's just not going to have everything about him right now, but I can certainly see a good player in there. And for us, he's kind of exactly what we need, especially when JMO's going to be missing for a little while. So very intriguing prospect. Very intriguing. We've not even begun to see his full potential yet. So who knows how good he could potentially be.
Absolutely. Just to let you know, by the way, Ant, because you don't know this, but I did go in and look at Pitt as well. So we are going to be having a look at the 12 targets he had in that game as
That's
well.
fine. That's
Um,
fine.
Aiming for this running lengthwise to be about, because we're going to be doing two people and trying to fit it into a show. So I'm thinking 45 minutes or so ish. I think it will probably be about that long while we discuss this sort of thing. But we'll see. So that should take us up until about 10 past 9 UK time, 10 past 4 Eastern time in the States. Let's see what happens with that. Brent just asked, how much impact do you think Green will have while we're waiting for JMO? I mean, frankly, got to make the roster first. And while it seems like with JMO out, he has the inside track to that. He's a 7th round pick. We had a couple of UDFAs come in, and 7th round picks are just priority UDFAs. Chase Coulter, Dylan Drummond could outperform him in camp, and then he's struggling. And we brought in Marvin Jones to help us in that regard. You know, he looks great on tape. As far as I'm concerned, I really enjoy some of the stuff I've seen. But, you know, he's a 7th round pick for a reason, as you said, Ant. So, Brent, I think if he makes the roster, that's the first battle. When he comes in, I don't think he's anything like Jameson Williams at all. Like, he's not a similar guy. He doesn't have burning speed. He's quick, but he's not beating guys for speed down the field. As far as when I see it, most of the big plays that I see come from him having reasonable route running, the ability to kind of fake out some people, and he makes people bust coverage. That's the way he wins down the field, apart from, and we'll see this in a couple of reps, I don't know whether you've felt like this, Ant, he wins a bit like Marvin Jones. The sort of contested catch striding down the field where he has outside leverage and the quarterback puts it on the outside where only he can go and get it, and the kind of one-arm snags and all that sort of stuff. Like, that's a lot of how he wins.
Yeah, like I said, if you're giving high-level takes for who he is, he wins. So his release package is incredibly limited. The release package is he will beat you with speed. That is it. And you know, and that's fine for now. You've got to increase that, but yeah, he will get you off the line of scrimmage. He will get a yard on you, and his separation skills actually really good. You will see in here his ability to, you know, go from 0 to 60 and then 60 down to 0. He gets the separation. You know, he loves doing the sort of comeback route. He'll run his vert. He'll stop on a dime turn, and he's there for his quarterback. He's got 4 or 5 yards on him. So kind of what he does is really good. And then when he is doing sort of the posts downfield, he's good in there. There are some aspects that could be improved, but yeah, he's very crafty when he wants to be. But you can see it's so much work in progress, because you see some good decisions, and then you see a lot of bad decisions as well. And like you've got to keep expanding at the NFL level. You've got to keep expanding, because defenders will pick up on how you play very quickly. And if you've not got that much about you, then you sort of lose your impact very quickly. So that's going to be his thing. But again, what he does well, and we'll see.
I think I'm just trying to count the routes I've seen on tape that he's run, and I think it's limited to basically this. The curl is his number one. Like, run 10 yards and then come back to the quarterback. He runs a comeback route where he goes 15 and then goes outwards to the boundary and tries to kind of make that sort of first down catch coming back to away from the quarterback but towards the sideline and kind of backwards. He does the run to the sort of middle. Sorry?
He does the post a lot when
he
he's
does
doing
post,
his midfield stuff.
He does do posts. He runs the go ball route. That's like what you'll see as a sort of his big highlights. Although I actually don't think he runs that a lot. But when they do it, they kind of go for it, because that's the first read on that play when they do run that go ball.
Yeah.
He in a limited fashion runs one where he wants to end up in that hole in the middle of the field in cover 2. Starts predominantly almost totally runs from the right-hand boundary, by the way. There are very, very limited times you'll see him run from the left, but 98% of his routes will be run from the right-hand side boundary, sort of Z wide receiver role. I should have put that in before. The other one I've seen him do a few times is shallow crosses, and I actually think he gets a lot of success when he does them. He just doesn't do it very often, but shallow crosses I've seen him do. But I haven't seen him do anything else. Hitches and shallow crosses, curls, posts, that's it.
See, Downs runs a ton of shallow crosses. He was that guy there, so I think it's just limited by scheme. It is predominantly. I know people won't use the air raid term with UNC, but kind of is in some ways. They pass the ball a hell of a lot. So, but again, Downs got that much production there that you just don't know what Green's capable of. And one thing I will say, and we'll go on to take now, is I'm really concerned about the blocking. I don't like it at all. And that's something I didn't realise with him before. Maybe it's me being too critical. We'll see. People will be able to agree or disagree. But I saw a lot of aspects of blocking I did not like. Some I did, but some that I'm a bit... I'm just a talking head on YouTube. What do I know? Nothing.
So we have researched him independently, but on the same tape, apart from I've gone on to do Pitt as well. So we'll do Pitt last. We're going to have a look at Virginia first, all in 2022, this, because that's where the majority of the production was. Virginia 2022, which I think was his lowest rated game per PFF. Then we have Duke, which was his third highest rated game per PFF, and then Pitt was his highest rated game. So we've tried to have a bit of a balance of some bad and some good, so we can show you what he's at. Like, we don't want to show you like the bog standard stuff because that's not a huge amount of his game. He's a boom or bust player, so let us show you the boom and the bust, because otherwise it's no fun. I need to share my screen with Ant so that he can see what you're seeing. We will disappear, so we will just be some talking heads and you won't be able to see us. Apologies for that, but that's the way Zoom works, so there we go. Because we've researched this independently, I'm going to have to converse with Ant during the video as to where he wants to go for the next highlight, because we may not necessarily have the same things we want to look at. So let's get on with it without any further ado, and I might have to do some jiggery-pokery with the video on Twitch in a second. Here we go. So there's that, and then I will make that big. Is that too big? I think that's okay. All right. So, and this is the Virginia game.
Yep.
I've listed every single play, so I can take you to any single one you want to go on. But is there any particular one you want to start with?
I mean, the first few, he's just running verts, but they're mainly running the ball. I think the first one I had notes at was at the 2-minute mark.
2 minutes. 2 minutes exactly. Seam route, hand fighting, got space inside cover 2, but no target is my note for that play.
So he's in press man. This is just what you want to see a little bit from him. So he's in press man coverage, burst past his man. You see a good display of skill to get by his man, because his man's going to come up on him at the top. You're going to see a bit of hand fighting, but this is where you're going to see him come up. He's going to go around the outside, but this is where I have an issue with him attempting to block here. But just play the play, and then we'll.
All right, here we go. So you can see the arrow with him at the top of the formation here. So manages to fight past, sits in that sort of zone, but maybe overruns it a little bit.
Yeah. But you can see the separation skills right then and there off the bat. So if you go back to so you can't really see him too much here. But
yeah, so we'll play this
go
again.
Back off the bat, and then you'll see him. I just like how this is how he wins. So he'll get to you on the edge, and he will get the separation. You see there, one hand up, gone. Now the defender comes back here, so. Maybe a little critical of me here, but when it comes to the blocking, but if you sort of go back and play it slow, obviously his teammate gets the ball. I think he should be blocking when his teammate gets it. I just don't see much effort for him to come up and do it. So if we go in there and we go it in slow, because we can do it in slow-mo, can't we?
I can. All right.
Yeah, we did it before. I remember it from the ones we did before.
The problem with this is that I've got it playing through Chrome as opposed to playing through YouTube, but I could still do it. Here we go. Yeah. So he releases here, gets through some contact, which is a good thing with him considering it's mostly speed. He's looking for the ball at this point. Ball's already thrown here.
Stop it there. So here he is. His teammate's got the ball. He's got the guy right down with him. I would like to see him come in and block here, because if he breaks that tackle, his teammate is going to be able to come up, and I would like to see him come in and do some blocking here. Now, it actually ends up being a good tackle from the cover defender next to him, but that might be me being a bit too overtly critical, but he sees he's got the ball here, so if I'm him, I'm looking upfield, seeing if I can block, seeing what I can do for this, but...
Yeah.
If you play it again slow, look, his teammate, just keep it going from where it is. No, just carry it on from where it is now. Look, beats the tackle, but he's just stood there watching.
Yeah.
It just maybe just that is a little bugbear with me, but I would like to see him come in and block. And the reason why I noted it is because I see a few more examples of this going on now. Again, might be me being super harsh, but that is just how I feel. But in terms of the release package, that's what he's about. Getting the space, getting the separation, and that I really, really like.
I'm just trying to see if I can get my annotation working. because I like annotate and draw. Okay. Is this going to work if I do it? This is very hard to do. No, that didn't work. Okay, never mind. Last time I did manage to annotate this, and with Zoom you can annotate, but for some reason that isn't outputting into what we're doing. But anyway, okay, cool. So I was actually going to wind on to the next play here as well. The very next play.
I've got big ones with this as well. So this is an end zone play. You're going to see him get open. Oh, we got to wait for this one.
Yeah, I'm just playing this one through.
I don't like his decision making on this one. I think that he couldn't do better here. So you're going to see him go into the end zone, and he's going to cut to the outside, like Matt said. He's going to go for the corner, sorry.
Yeah.
So you've got this. There he goes. In he goes for the post. May get sacked. Now, where I kind of want to stop this, and again, I'm a little bit with me. So here we go. So I think he can make a better decision for his quarterback here. I think he takes the wrong route. I would like him to run a post here and come inside because he has acres of room to make himself available. So if you just start the play, so you'll see him go, and then I want you to stop now. So look here, Drake May is looking in his direction. You're one-on-one with the defender here. You get inside leverage, you come in to the post. There is a good chance of you being able to get a touchdown here. But what he does, look at all that space you're in. He basically runs into the defender and then tries to separate towards the corner. But I don't like that decision because it's nearly 6 seconds before he's available for the route. And that's a long time, especially in a red zone situation. By the time he gets free, May's getting sacked. But I don't know about you, but just look where he is here. Look at all that space you've got right by the post.
Whoops, sorry. Yeah, so...
And if you just put it forward, just play it slow forward, and look what he ends up doing. He runs into his guy. Look, there he goes, runs into him. And then it's like, May's got to go. And there he is, and the play's done. Now, I know it might be the route he was specifically assigned to do, but if I'm seeing that much space, I'm taking it. And he runs straight at his guy. I just don't like that personally, me. Again, I'm not attuned to how players are taught, coached, etc. But I just feel like if I'm you, I just go for that big ass bunch of space there, and I get myself open for my quarterback. It just seems an incorrect decision for me.
I see what you're saying, and I think in terms of play design, I think that you're right. I would have drawn it up so that Green was running a post here rather than a corner. You are absolutely right. That's where the space is. Having said that, May never looks his way. He's got 3 guys to the left, 1 guy to the right. The play isn't designed for him. He should still do his job. However, if you're told, right, run a corner here, if you end up running a post, are they going to get pissed off with you for running the wrong route just because you're kind of running on the fly? Like, our team's going to put up with people ad-libbing. Because if the quarterback, say instead of May getting flushed out to the left here, trying to target his 3 guys, say he kind of spins out of this and sort of comes back to the right-hand side where he's the only option. If he runs a post, Green is now not there. So I think May's looking left for these 3 guys. If he gets flushed left, he's got 3 options. If he gets flushed right, he's got 1. While it seems like the smart decision in terms of space play,
I don't like the way he runs his actual route, though. Like I say, he basically runs into his guy, and it's just... I'm not too uber keen on how it's done. I just feel like when you're in that much space, you don't need to contact him. You can get out there a little sooner. But, you know, it's kind of busted after that, so it is what it is, but... So I've got the next one right after this.
Yeah, so this is a reception of his. So quick curl in and finds a space, zone coverage, I think.
I love everything about this. So he gets past the first guy, swivels on a dime, makes the catch quite low actually, and even more impressively, he holds to contact. So he takes a big hit there.
The only thing that I don't like about this is that he seems to sort of bubble the catch slightly. But
But
this
it's
is...
really low. Look how low it is. It's thrown at his feet. So it comes in, it's right down at his feet. And through contact, even though he's bobbling it, he keeps hold of it. But this is the separation thing. He's targeted for his quarterback early. I mean, just look how quick look how quick this is thrown. It's very quick, and he's already in spot. So first guy, out it comes, done. He's there. And he's got no one within 2 yards of him, 2-3 yards of him so quickly.
I think the really impressive thing about this play is that he doesn't often line up that close to his men. You know, he's more of a boundary player. So inside, he knows he's going to get contact from behind him, which he doesn't experience much when he's running his go ball. He might get contacted from behind, but his momentum's going to take him forward. He's going to be caught from behind going towards their end zone. Here, he's being contacted going back towards his own team. So it's not something he may have practiced very much. Holding on through contact is very, very good there. So I like that play very much.
And that is a lot of what he's about. Like I said, these are the routes he'll run. He'll run 5-10 yards and then he will stop on a dime, and he gets the separation you want. Gives your quarterback a nice, easy out, be able to make the completion. So that is one of the big strengths of his game, which I really like.
The next play I have is at 5:13. Yeah.
No, so I've got a few things to say about his blocking here. So I want to go up to 402.
Yeah, I have.
So this is 402. This is a run play. This is where I'd like him to be more aggressive with it. It doesn't really matter, but I want to see him blocking better. I think it's very limp attempt to block. So
yeah,
ball's going to be ran, and you sort of see him up here, and just. So his running back is coming over, but he's just sort of sticking an arm out. He's not really. So he's go through it a bit slower.
He waits to see whether his running back is going to get there before he actually says, "Oh, I better get onto it now."
Yeah, and I just think he could be a little bit more aggressive. So you'll see it, and I love the running back run here. Just hits the gap, but he's at the top. And there he comes, and he's coming through now. You should be blocking. That guy should be on his arse, been barreled backwards. And he's not. And in fairness, it's a really good covering tackle. But I'm thinking if he does, his running back may head for the perimeter and that tackle not be made in the first place. I would want to see more aggression there because the running back is coming in his direction and he's just limply hanging an arm out. I'm not too keen on that. That for me, I would like to see a bit more. I mean, just look, it's kind of really half-hearted.
Even when he decides to block, he misses him. The other defender kind of pulls him along and beside him. So it's a really weird thing here. I don't understand what's going on.
And then we follow it up with exactly the next play. So the running back is going to get stuffed on the line of scrimmage, but watch him. If the running back does get through this line of scrimmage, Green lets his man go. He's up to the line of scrimmage. So you're going to see the running back get stuffed, but just watch how he lets his man go. Up he goes. There he goes. Look, he lets him run straight past. There's no attempt to block there again. And if his running back breaks that line of scrimmage, he's going to run straight into the man Green's supposed to be blocking. So you see this here. Off he goes, off he goes, off he goes. Oh, no, wait, he's gone. You see where he's going to come through the line.
The thing is, he overruns his route when he knows it's a run play, when he should be thinking, yes, I need to sell the route so that I try and drag a defender along with me, but I can't overrun it so that I can't block in front. Because the thing is, once he turns around and realizes the run hasn't worked, he's already too far away from the defender that there's no point in him trying to block at that point because he's overrun. But he shouldn't be overrunning.
No, and the point is if the running back breaks the line of scrimmage, he's going to get cleaned out by that guy. Whereas if he's in there with him, he could take it to the house. Again, this might be me being uber critical, but I think this is where I am a little concerned. I would expect to see a little bit more just in terms of helping out there. It's what you need to do to get on this roster. They won't accept sort of things like this.
Yeah. This next play is one where he wasn't targeted, but he manages to find the hole in cover 2 again, which is something I found consistently with him.
So this is the speed release again. Watch how he wins on the speed release. This is what I really like about him. There you go. Bang.
Press man, beats his guy. I would say that and I'm going to annotate this because I've actually managed to do it now, but he's overrun this again. So he's here. Your cornerback is here. Your safety is here. He is so close to that safety. He needs to be here. But instead, he ends up here, and it's the second time I've seen it. He finds the hole in cover 2, but he finds himself going towards the boundary or going towards the goal area when he should be almost finding the gap and then maybe coming back to his quarterback. Like, don't be here. You've done the hard work, but actually make the ball catchable. Because if he gets thrown the ball, his momentum is taking him into the safety to make a play on the ball. Make it easy for your quarterback. That small point, but these little things are going to get you catches in the NFL. And play it again because you can see that he overruns it.
But again, I love winning off the line of scrimmage. He just puts
Against
the
press
left hand
man,
up,
just quick feet.
swipe. It's just one swipe with the left hand and he's gone.
But he should be stopping at the 35. He's looking back. He's continuing to go. It's annoying.
But again, they're technical things. They can be worked out, but I'm not too concerned about that one. But I think the next one, I like this. He makes himself available to me again. He gets space. Go through it a bit. So he makes himself available. He's not targeted. But again, this is the separation aspect of his game that I do like. So you're going to see him when the pass is thrown. He's going to be there. You see, he's there. May has to bail. He comes outside. He's trying to give him an option. May throws in that direction. So he gets open for him once. And then when he sees his quarter, this is better from the back view, actually, I think.
I'll just play it once through again. He in the scramble drill, he makes himself available.
Yeah, so watch how he gets open first time. And then when he sees his quarterback scrambling. So there, he's open in his space there. He sees his quarterback scrambling. He gets around the back of the defender. He tries to make himself available again. You see him get into the perimeter. And actually, May throws in that direction. He just throws it to the guy further downfield.
The thing is, Green had more separation than the guy he actually threw to.
Yeah.
And Green was free. So it's a poor pass by May, honestly. I think it's a slightly poor decision on his part.
Yeah, but this is where I do like, because, I've sort of critiqued his hustle a bit so far, but when he does, I want to give it props because he makes 2 attempts to be available. So you'll see him come inside here. There he is. Right, quarterback's running. He sees the gap. Off he goes, trying to be there for his quarterback. Maybe should have seen it, but I don't know if May can see him either because he's behind 2 defenders as well. So,
all right, what's your next video?
Next point. 725. It's a screen pass. He gets more physical blocking, so he can do it. I just want to show an example of him actually blocking well.
Okay, so I'm gonna take you to 655 first.
This is just a run play. I had it as just a run play.
It is just a run play, but I like the fact that it shows you his ability to curl and to hitch. I think this is and stop on a dime.
Okay.
So there and stop. And you can see he's got 6 yards of separation at that point. It's not much. It's just a very quick example of what he can do with those feet. It's a super simple play too, so of course that should be down, but showing you that he can do it. Right, 725.
So this is just a more aggressive physical approach. So it's a screen pass. You do see him blocking more. I do want to say that he can do it. It's just I see examples where he isn't. So he's upfield there. It comes in, and you see him.
Yeah,
pushes this guy out. It's a better example of the blocking, and he can see it, and he gets there, and he does it. So it seems to be in the run game where it's a bit more of a thing, but in the passing game, he's willing to lay hands down, and I appreciate that. The next play at 758. This is his, and this is what we mentioned, the ability to, he'll go from 0 to 60, he'll stop on a dime, he's there for me. This is the separation ability I like. So off he goes. Stop dead. Look how how much separation he's got. It's over 5 yards to the next guy. Now, maybe it doesn't go in that direction, but if you go back to the main one, so just watch him. Stop. Look, 5 yards there. I mean, in fairness, all of the UNC receivers are, so maybe they're playing a little bit of zone, but you've still got to do it. And, very quick off there. This is just the part I like. You want a guy with separation abilities. He can do it. It's just how quickly he's able to just stop on a dime and be there.
I want to do the one at 8:30 here. I've got a very confusing note for myself on this one. I have in, up, out, and sit.
Oh, okay. You can do this. I've not got anything for this
I,
one.
my notes seem to not help me very much with this, but this shows a bit more of technical route running, I think, than what he's shown in other reps. I could be completely wrong, but I think he comes inside here, comes up, and then goes out. He doesn't fake out the receiver. There's nothing remarkable about that. But with a guy who's been pigeonholed as a guy who can basically just run a vertical route tree, that shows his ability to come in, go out. His feet are pretty good. Obviously, defender stays with him. It's not a pretty technical rep, but just he can't. It's not just that he runs entirely in a straight line. That's what I wanted to highlight with that.
That's fine.
Right.
I'm up for the next play. So this is again. I don't. I the blocking is just so bad for me. So you're going to see his teammate. His teammate's going to get the pass. He's going to break 2 tackles, and then a guy's just going to walk straight past Green and put him down. So here it comes. 1, 2 tackles broke. Look how he's just stood there, and number 3 comes in and pile drives him.
That's weird.
And it's just like I'm looking. So run it in slow mo. This is again. This may be me being hypercritical, but it
no. This is the play design.
So if
it's
you
a
watch
wide
this,
receiver screen. He's one of the blockers.
and watch this. I look first the receiver, 2 tackles broke, bang bang. But look at Green. Number 3 comes past him and spears him. Now it's just. I know 7's in there as well, but he's broken 2 tackles. If you stop 3 from coming in to spear him, you may have something here. So just very slow. In he comes, and he's watching.
That is the play design. The play design is this. And
yeah.
let's do some annotation. Let's be fun here. This guy comes and blocks this guy. This guy, Green, blocks this guy. You're hoping that your receiver can get through that gap, and then you've got a home run.
Yeah.
You're blocking the 2 backside defenders. You've got to beat the first 2. That's a hard assignment for the guy catching the ball, but if it works...
And he does really well.
Yeah.
He does really well. But look, so here he goes, and then look how 3's coming in. He's seen it. He just pushes him out the way limply and goes in and spears him, and it's just like... I want to see you fighting and pushing him downfield. You're not meant to be laying hands on that guy. And then he just like gets him up after like, oh, you know, it's hard luck there. You got some yards, but he's just watching. I would love to see more aggression there. It's just, that guy should not be touching him. He just goes in and spears his teammate who's broken 2 tackles already. It just didn't sit well with me.
Yeah, it's not ideal. All right, what's the next one?
I mean, the next play is another stop and separate. You can quickly have a look at it. It's just another example of how he gets his separation. So,
all right, here we go.
You see him speed there, stop on a dime, 3 or 4 yards at that point, and could get to him. Obviously, it's not designed, but the gap that he gets, it's a lot of space if his quarterback wants to throw at him.
I have a small critique on this. While he stops, I feel like he could be creating a bit more space for his man here. So when he's stopping here, so I know that it's behind him, so maybe he needs to grow eyes in the back of his head. But if I'm Green here, and I know that there are defenders here and here, the space is straight back to the quarterback, whereas he kind of goes in back towards the cornerback behind him, which is less than ideal. If I brought this here, maybe he knows the play isn't going his way, but I think he should be coming straight back to his QB.
Yeah. I don't know, like I say, maybe the players are not designed there, but I'd just love to see the effort. I'd love to see the execution there. It's like he's doing it as though it would come his way.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. The next play decks it. Then he blocks again on a screen pass.
11:37.
Oh, this is Beauty and the Beast. I love the route. So this is a drop touchdown pass. So you're going to see him run a post route. It's beautiful. He kills the DB for speed. He is wide open, and Drake May throws a perfect pass to him, and he bobbles it down onto his kneecap and drop. It's just a simple drop. It's a lack of concentration, but this is the Beauty and the Beast side of this. This is what you want if you're him with the Lions, because he's only going to get one-on-one coverage. You want him to be able to burn someone, so just play it through first. I love it.
Just to say, this is only one of 2 plays in the entire game where he is lined up on the left-hand side of the formation, just to put that front and center, because that's why it's so weird that he does so well with this. But anyway, here we go. So 31 yards out,
In he
up
goes.
the
Just
seam, and then just up towards the post on a dime, on time. Oh, it's so bad.
it is.
It's so well run. Just
It
smooth on the sort of turn into the post.
he doesn't have to stop. No stopping in stride. Just gets it perfect, and it's down. Bobbles it off his knee, and the route is perfect. The acceleration he gets because he starts off a little slow, and then you just see the burners kick in, and the throw is beautiful. This is one of the reasons to be excited by Jeremy. Look at that, straight in.
So he's got
This
a
is
yard of separation at this point.
And this is the positive for him. Look how much separation he has. And it's in his hands, right there, in the breadbasket. And it's just a lack of concentration.
He never
smashes it on
really,
his knee.
he never has it. He almost punches it into his knee, but with both
Yeah,
hands. It's frustrating.
it is. But
Lovely route. Lovely route.
it's the good and the bad there. But, I guess most of all, you're looking for the route run. You're looking for these little bits, the acceleration. So it's a shame.
Next one I have.
So I had 12:43 here. So May completely overthrows him, but this is one where May's looking for him. And he's in open space once again. You'll see him, he gets to the perimeter, he's in acres of space, and May throws it. Victor Wembanyama, like 3 times stood up, couldn't get this. But look at the space he's in. It's just a really bad throw. But again, he finds the gap in between the defense. He just exploits that. Off he goes. Just powering down. Then stops. Look at the space. No guy 5 yards either side of him. And like I say, Wembanyama couldn't have caught that if he was doubled in size. It's just a weird throw from me. But again, this is just showing his ability to get into space. That's what you're looking for. Can he get in there? Can he present a target for his quarterback? And more often than not, he does. Again, it's an aspect of the game that I really, really like of his.
All right, next one, or not next one, but which you do on next one?
Oh no, you give me one. That's all right. You go for yours.
1348 is my next one I had. Oh no, 1315 maybe. And the very next play then is that? Yeah.
If you want to go for that, then go. I got 48, but go for it.
Let's go 1348. 1315 wasn't a highlighted one for me. I was just
No.
Right. So this is a deep curl. Maybe should have come back a bit more because he had loads of space. Runs hard, comes back, and again,
Slips a little.
I highlighted it on that previous one as well, and it just seems to be plays that don't come his way where he does this. So maybe if it was actually going to him, he'd do slightly differently here. But that's too slow.
Not sure about the turf in this because he decks it a few times in this as well. Few of them are sliding around a bit because there's one where he just completely goes down, but you can see here he just slips a little. But again, the separation, look at it. He's in between the triangle there.
I want you to realise that this defender is covering this space here, maybe this space here. He doesn't have eyes in the back of his head. So if Green wants to come back, he can come back all the way up here. He can come back all the way down here. Anywhere in that sort of V is going to be fine. But don't just sit there. I know he kind of slips a little bit, but it seems to be a habit with him where when he stops there, he's not looking to make it easier for his quarterback. And it's just frustrating me a little bit because against the NFL, you'll have corners and safeties catch up to you and compete for that catch. Yes, maybe you sacrifice a yard or two, but you turn a 60-40 into a 90-10 if you've got good hands. So just needs to do slightly better on the execution for that. But it's a good play.
I think there is. It's just, again, I like the ability to create space. I think that's what you're getting him for. And, he will create opportunities for himself.
What's your next one?
Hang on just a minute. I've just realised I've been ignoring YouTube, so...
No, it's all good. I've said hello every now and again. As always,
which one have you got next, sorry?
I got 1550. It's
Yeah,
similar
I had a
though.
bit. The thing is, you need to keep seeing the examples though. Sometimes of these things, you just gotta because it then shows that it's you know it's not a one-off. So go for it.
Change that play back to normal. Here he is, near side of the formation. And I think it's another curl. So really nice feet. And then he curls, stops on a dime. Actually, then doesn't block again, which is really frustrating. But if I just wind this back and slow it down, have a look
Yes.
at his release off the line here. It's some of the prettiest feet I've seen from Green.
So this is encapsulating the good and the bad in one play. Like you say, the good, just one
One,
step,
and past
wababam,
him.
gone.
But
Now, obviously, he stops. He's kind of in a position where he can't be thrown to. So it is, but he's got it. But then, yeah, you want this is three again. Three spears his teammate, and he kind of just lets him. And it
it's
again,
frustrating.
try not to be critical. And this is why, because when the few earlier ones, when it doesn't seem there's much in them, I was sort of letting them slide. But the more I watch through this, I'm like, actually, this is part of a trend that needs to be highlighted. That it's that same guy, number 3, who's there. You can see the hustle he has making the plays, and it's like you should be getting in his face. He's the opposite number. Go for him. Because if he's not there, there is every chance that his receiver can get to the perimeter again because he's not cutting back inside into the path of the other defender.
At the end
If
of the
you
day,
sort of steered
potentially
him
it's
off,
leaving points on the field.
yeah, and this is why it's kind of we want guys like Amon Ra who block for their life, and this is what these guys are taught to do. Now, I think Green does have something on this team that a lot of the guys don't in terms of creating just shed loads of separation, but the blocking is something that's really got to be addressed. Really, for me, that's probably number one concern with me right now. Not anything else. It's the blocking that needs to. And they say primarily it's on the run plays where it's the issue. When it comes to screens, I think he's fine. I think it's because it's this assignment. I think when he has to think on his feet, like it's like then maybe is he thinking that he has to block on that play? Maybe not. But you should be looking to contribute, not standing watching.
Brent asked a question which I think I'm going to ask at the end. With kind of what we discussed a little bit earlier, but if Green makes a 53, what do you think his role will be in Ben's offense? I was just wondering how BJ might use him. Maybe we'll shelve that, have a look at all of the tape, and then discuss what his fit may be at the end. I don't actually have another play for a little bit now, because there's
I'm the same.
a bunch of nothing. My next one was 21-23.
Yeah, I had the same. Well, I think I had like 21-21. Cutting hairs. I actually ran a lot of run plays in this one. I don't remember UNC running the ball so much, but hey ho.
All right. So this, my note says, lovely footwork again, up and then out, not targeted. So on the near side here as normal.
But yeah, I really like this about him.
Just a lot of press man up against him. He beats his guy, and then, I mean, it's good coverage in the end. Obviously, a touchdown on the far side here. But
it is, but I like the fight. He's handsy. He's given as good as he gets. He's given the DB hell. But it's just I love the stutter gone.
He's really good at
a yard on him. Sort of leans in the shoulder to try and get leverage. I think there's a little bit handsy there. The DB is not too much, but he is getting a little bit handsy.
I think that's the sort of handsy though, where your DB coach absolutely loves it. Like that's
he
fighting on the right side of the line.
But it's a sort of handsy where the zebras against the lions go absolutely not throw the fucking flag. But no, again, I love the release package. Like I said, is limited, but what he does so well, and people will struggle to contain it. When you got good footwork like that, it's hard to not grab like illegally to keep them behind you.
All right, my next one is 25-15.
Yeah, I think we're in lockstep here. There are a lot that are a bit. And I think I made the point about it gets to this point. I'm like, I've made my point on certain issues now, so I don't want to.
All right, here we go. So quarter has ended, so he's on the other side now, on the right-hand side, playing off man. He goes slow, and then he goes for it. Like, he runs his routes hard. We've seen him kind of go full pelters before, and when it's a run play, sometimes you see him go slow. and not put too much effort into a rep. But then he'll use that to kind of put his defenders in a false sense of security because they've seen him go as a run play, I'm not going to go for it. And then in this particular rep, he feigns it being a run play. He's like, okay, I'm going to run this, I'm going to tail off, and then I'm going to go. There's the defender doesn't get faked out, but there'll be some defenders who see him do that and go, it's a run play, I'm going to come up to the man. And then he's busted the coverage. He's giving the defender a chance to hang himself. It doesn't work, but it's the sort of nuance where it's not even run particularly well by Green, but the thinking is up there, and that's a good start.
Yeah, and the head's back. He's looking if there's an option there because he can, again, stop and create an opportunity for himself there. So,
All right, next one for you.
I think it's in the 27s, is it? 20, I can't remember. Which is it, 27? Oh, I don't know. Hang on. Where the hell my notes gone?
I got one for a double move, 2706.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Why? My notes are all spread out because I was doing other things while I was doing the note. This book is just a random assortment of notes about everything.
All right, so we're near the red zone here, 23, 22-yard line. Off man again. He goes out and then in. Good defense by the DB. Obviously ends up in a touchdown. He kind of created some of the space for that too, which is
well. That's it. He brings them in, and that's the whole point of it. He puts the burners on. The DB comes in so far that he can't then impact the play. So if you see it again, I mean, look, he's out there. That's his zone, and you're going to see him come in, and he's like, right, got it. I've got to stay with him because this is where he runs that post I was talking about earlier when he was going to the corner on the outside. This is where you bring him in. Look, there he is. Burners on. Look how he changes direction so violently. And then it's like, I can't get across.
Lesser DBs are going to bite on the fake with him going out as well because he takes one step to fake on the outside and then comes inside. It's really nice.
You see how quick the DB sort of flips his hips and comes in field with him. If he doesn't flip his hips there, he will stop that run. But by bringing him inside, he completely takes him out the play, and it's a run to the home for the running back. So again, I really like that. That's what he did. That speed, that sort of deep threat, you can sort of move guys around like chess pieces. And you see in little bits like this, you can see him do it. It's just, again, this is why he's a 7th round pick. Infuriating, but, absolving at the same time. Absorbing.
I pretty much only have one more, which is 30-20. So if you have any others...
Yeah, no, that's fine. We've been going a while. I think I've got across most of what I want to out of this one.
So this is his only other catch. You see him at the top of the formation here. It's a wide receiver screen. He makes a nice catch. And he's got some lovely feet and spins to force missed tackles here.
Yeah. And this is where when he gets the ball in his hands, he can be dangerous. So you get that there. It's just...
Whoop. And then spins out of that one, spins out of that, or not quite out of that one, but he almost pulls off 3 spins. Also, his feet to come back here are amazing.
So the first 2-step, when he gets it, completely, the linebacker's not going to chance on him. I really like the first 2 steps where he just sort of almost sells his soul. Look, 1, 2, and he just gives and goes. He just puts his foot in the ground and then accelerates. I just love it. It just takes the defender out of play. He's so rapid when he gets that ball. And then again, fighting through contact is what you want to see. He's going to be a guy who's fighting to get in there. He's got the aggression. Look, he just hits the gap. Off he goes. Balance is wonderful. Keeps going.
Really,
Even runs into his own
good
guy.
Contact balance. Amazing contact balance.
And, and this is like one of his worst games we've got here. So this is just for balance. So, it might seem we've ragged on him a lot, but this is him at his worst. And you can still see really good parts of play in here. And I really, there are bits in there that just maybe go, yeah, I can see why we got him. I absolutely can. So, and then there's other bits and I'm like, that's why he was barely not drafted.
So PFF had that game graded as a 55.6. His lowest next game was against Miami, which was a 62. His highest rated was Pittsburgh with 81, and we're also going to watch Duke, which was 70. Actually, that Duke game was a middle-of-the-park game for him. So we're going to watch his worst game, a middle game, and his best game. So
like
shall we move on to Duke?
Yeah. It's like Goldilocks.
All right, so I need to make this a bit different because it looks shit.
That's it. So this is where you want to see him. This is where you get to see him when he's in his groove and what he can really do. Again, it's just he was so limited by what he could do at Duke. At UNC.
Oh yeah,
because of Downs hogging the and Josh Downs is a really good receiver, and Drake may love throwing to him, and it's just sometimes that happens to guys. That's why sometimes guys drop. They just don't get the volume, and it's not their fault.
So this is the very first play of the game. He is near side to us. You can't actually see him on screen at the moment. So he's kind of where the Duke sign is at the bottom, below the Brooksfield bit. You'll see him in a minute. You can actually see it better on the replay, but here's the very first play of the game. So May takes a snap, goes deep, and that is a 50-yard catch. Amazing balance in the air, taking contact. Incredible catch. An incredible speed because May takes 1.5, 2 seconds to do that. Fakes inside, goes round him on the outside, hangs in the air for an age.
But that's it. He's locked on the ball. I mean, locked on. He sees that thing coming. He knows exactly where it is. And again, just that little change of direction. Just the DB can't flip his hips, and he just gets that leverage that he needs on him. And this is weirdly what I said, because I reckon this will be the first play of the Lions season for me. I reckon they might try and pull something out like this. Because people aren't going to be expecting Green to get a deep ball here, but just look, focused, concentrated, the hands are good, fights through contact, could easily drop that, bin it on his way down. Doesn't.
Also, in terms of being NFL ready as opposed to college ready, a load of college receivers as a habit come down with 1 foot. He deadens his entire body on the catch.
So just watch the little shimmy.
2 feet.
The shimmy gets it, and almost force. Guy's just trying to grab. He's trying to grasp thin air. Just gets those couple of yards he needs. The throw is amazing. Up he goes.
It's interference because the defender gets there slightly early as well. Great,
but that's what I mean. He fights through contact and through a pretty heavy fall. Ball's in his hands. You don't think that it's under threat for any second. Just looks so natural.
Yeah,
that's what I love. And like I said, to Brent's thing about how he could be, and I know we'll talk about it more later about how he could be in this team. I reckon that is what he'll bring to this team immediately. If you put him out there, that's what he can do, because he is going to be left on an island with one guy. And if he gets the right matchup, which Campbell loves to emphasize, I think you might see something crazy like that to start our season against the Chiefs. 50-yard bomb, maybe a touchdown. That's what he can do.
That's what he can do. Very next play. So almost in the red zone. Up the seam. No, sorry, that's the previous play. Quick curl. Has separation. It's a run play. But we've seen multiple examples of this in the last game. But just to show that it's consistent from game to game.
Yeah.
So bottom of the screen. Quick curl. 5 yards of space. That's all you get to see of that play. The camera angle's terrible. And they really don't show you many replays. But on that little hitch, he consistently has a huge amount of space.
Exactly, and that's what you want. Easy out for Goff if he needs it. That's what he can bring.
And I do have the next play as well. So
this is a really good start to the game.
So this is versus press now. The man's walked up. Nice quick feet to beat the man in the red zone, but not targeted, is what I have here as my note.
This is just how good he is in press. Off he goes. Got the leverage on him, the inside leverage. He gets sacked.
Strip sacked as well there. But just, he always seems on the line to have quick enough feet to beat his guys so that he at least has a step. It may only be a step of separation, but that's enough at this point on the field. When he's described as a burner, you think he's not going to work in the red zone. But I think there's enough about his game to say he is going to be a red zone threat.
Oh, it is. And like I say, he gets the inside leverage. So he has the understanding of leverage. Get inside, get the yard, get the space. And this is where he's really good. This is what I really like about him.
Right. My next ones are just his catches, I think. So if you have some in the interim, then that's fine.
No, I like to talk. I like to go through some of these catches. It just emphasizes so much of the good he can do.
Right, just roll this on a minute because it's hard to get it to stop exactly on YouTube. Right,
Yeah.
so this next one, like so many of his catches, up the seam, goes outside, forced out of bounds by the defender, re-establishes, and then makes a really good catch in traffic, contested, like at the catch point rather than it being before.
Yeah.
So, big hit by the defender. He knocks him over and then re-establishes and catch with a man right there. Obviously can't finish it off, gets spun out of bounds, but it's I mean, I know that you're not allowed to do this in the NFL, I don't think. I think you'd be dead. But
No, but I'm looking for the aggression because obviously I've sort of had a little go at the blocking, the aggressiveness there. But as a receiver, you want to see the aggression in there as well, and he will give as good as he takes here. Like I said, DB gives him a good old hit, but he's always looking. So again, gets the outside, and I think the defender deliberately pushes him out because he's going to get the run on him. So
yeah,
I
and
think it's
he
almost deliberate.
re-establishes straight away, and he can see the defender coming, and he makes
But
a
he
really good
doesn't.
catch.
He doesn't. So many guys drop that because they're bracing for impact. He
Yeah,
doesn't,
no.
and again, that's if you're going to be an X receiver on the outside, that's what you need. You've got to have bravery because you're going to take some big hits. That's it. You're a massive target there. So again, I love everything about that. Shows the aggression that was missing in some of the earlier plays, and it shows that he has it. So as a receiver, I've got no issues in that regard.
All right, we move on to this one, which is a curl route and then a scramble to the middle, a nice catch and a big take upfield on 3rd and long. So at this point in the game, they are struggling a little bit, I think, UNC. They're only 3 up in their own territory. So
This
he
Duke team
curls
is
here.
good. Yeah.
So you can see him free now just on the left-hand side of the screen as I've paused it there. So he's come in field. May sees him, throws it, turns up field, gets a couple of yards, makes sure you get the first down. Huge play in the context of the game.
That's it. You want to see the yak. Even if it's not that much, it's still, you're fighting through 2 tackles. And again, you're open. And that, this team has lacked so much. We moaned it, even back to the days when we had Kenny. He just didn't get open. Good, great contested catcher, but just did not get in open space.
I am hoping they bring up a replay here.
And this Duke team is good. I'm not going to hear any slander about Duke and the level of opposition here. They were a great team last season. And that's why I kind of focused on this more than the picks. I think their secondary is better than Pitt's. So I think this is a better...
Oh, no.
I think this is a better test for him in terms of level of opposition he's up against.
Ooh, he stood on his hand.
Yeah,
Dirty bastard.
Wasn't pleasant.
Right, okay, so let's show this again then, because I didn't actually show it through. Is this the right play? It is. So he's up at the top of the screen here. He's going to come inside and come back to his quarterback. Comes in, or curls, and then comes into the middle. Nice catch, loads of separation. Comes through contact for that one.
It's like 3 tackles he breaks. 2 from the same guy, but it's 3 separate tackles he breaks through. He's very elusive when he wants to be. It's hard to get him down because he's very slippery. And if you let him go, he'd burn through.
Right. Next one is...
This was such a great game, this was.
Yeah.
This was... Duke was so... I just don't know how they got so good so quick, but it was such a fun game.
So this is... You can't see him at the bottom of the screen here, but he's going up the seam. He creates separation. May dramatically underthrows him here. He tries to come back for the ball. The defender gets to him first. It's a definite DPI which goes uncalled. Unfortunately goes down as a drop for Green. But if I wind this through now, RPO throws deep and just horribly underthrown. He beats his guy off the snap, and if he throws it out in front of him, it's one of the few instances where May has thrown him a really poor pass.
So yeah, you want to see when it's not him, you want to see the technicals. So look, off the speed is just causing issues. He's got, look at that, 2 yards, has to come back, and the Green doesn't do anything wrong there. He's locating the ball, he's up for it. I'd even maybe say that's a bit of a DPI.
Oh, it's definite DPI.
But again, the fundamentals are right that you want. He gets the separation, locates the ball, he's up for it, all the things you need. And he would have made the play if he'd not been interfered with.
And then this is the play of the game to win it.
Yeah, this is...
So UNC are down by 4, 21 seconds to go.
I'm not going to lie, this broke me because we were standing for Duke hard at this point, and this would have been a massive upset for them. Massive. And Green sort of broke us a little bit here.
This is like what we saw in the previous corner route that you were talking about, where he should have run a post. You mentioned that he kind of runs into his DB a little bit. He does exactly the same here, or no, maybe it's a different one, but he has a habit of doing that, sorry. But here at the bottom of the screen, can't really see it there, but the toe tap is just lovely.
Yeah. He comes back for his quarterback, as you'll see. Look at that. Battle, fights him off. Awareness of his space. So you see, just at the last minute, how he brings his foot back in, because he's on the line there. You see how he brings his feet back into play.
So if this got reviewed to hell, I was watching it earlier, if his foot touched the line, it wouldn't have been a touchdown. They reviewed it and decided that there was a sliver of green in between his foot and the line.
And this is what I mean. It was heartbreaking. As much as I like it for Green now that we've drafted him, I mean, Duke were like a blade of grass away from upsetting them.
So here's the step here.
But see how he suddenly brings his feet back in.
Mm.
So watch him readjust himself.
So there's the little patch of green.
It's awareness of where his feet is.
Yeah. So that's really good. Anyway, that's the end of that one. The fighting, really good. The route, really good. Coming back for his quarterback. Excellent execution. The most important part of the game, we saw him convert a third down earlier, and then this one was a third down to win the game. So one thing I have discovered through this process is that Green is a clutch player. He likes coming up big when it matters most, which is, obviously going to be valuable to us. All right, no further comments. So moving on to Pip.
Yeah, and you've done this, so I'm seeing these for the first time, analysing them for the first time.
Yeah,
I think I watched some of this game.
I'm sure you have, because we covered a lot of pit guys, and I think this was one of the games that you might have seen when we were looking at pit guys. 12 targets in this game, 10 catches, 108 yards, 2 touchdowns. His best game of his college career. This first play is his first catch versus press. Quick curl, nice catch, and he turns upfield. Feature of his game, when he gets the ball, he turns upfield and gets yak. He's never kind of settling for anything kind of particularly short, which is great. So you see him at the bottom of the screen here. Hitches, turns around, and just gains 3 or 4 yards because he's always got momentum taking him forward. Really nice little quick play there.
And it's the speed. It's like before the DBs even stopped and changed direction, he's got the ball swiveled and he's already running upfield. It's just done so quick.
This one he's not targeted, which is a real shame because he completely busts the coverage.
Yeah, you want to see the technical side, don't you?
Yeah, so you can see him on the lower part of the screen here. So this, hang on. So this is Green, and he's just going to run up here. So this isn't quite a shallow crosser, it's just a normal crosser, but he's going to be under the posts, completely untouched. No one around him, and May just completely misses it. So running this through, and you can't really see it there because May gets sacked. He does have a couple of guys free here, so I think it's just that he gets pressure through the middle. But, it's such a nice little play from Green, finding the gap, finding the hole. So here's Green's route. He's looking for the ball. He's calling for it because there's no one around him. You'll see him again here coming across the formation. Look at that space.
This would be a good chance to do a dissection of the Pittsburgh D-line, which was just so bloody good.
One of the things that did help North Carolina in this game is 2 Pitt players got done for targeting in this game at least, including Kalijah Cansey, which did not help. I'm not a Cansey fan, but he obviously was a wrecking ball in college. Just to interrupt here, if you're enjoying this video, do give us a like. Monetized on all platforms now, so if you want to show us some love with a super chat or super sticker or any of that stuff, always very, very welcome. Let's move it on to the next play, which I have as 1831, which is the very next play. So this is a touchdown. Beats his man on the outside just and hauls in a lovely one-handed catch from a back shoulder throw. It is the thing which made me say, it's Marvin Jones. It's Marvin Jones reincarnated. Watch this. Bottom of the screen. In press. Quick feet again. Goes around the outside. And one-handed. Just lovely.
In the breadbasket.
If they drew that play up at home, and, you know, that is how it's meant to run every single time. Couldn't do it better.
Yeah. And this is what I like. It's the concentration. The concentration to pull off a pass like that, whilst you've got a guy grabbing at you.
Never mind grabbing at you. I've only just spotted what is happening here. So let me slow this down. Because this is fun. If you get a grab of the shirt, it disrupts you a bit, but it's not too bad. It doesn't disrupt your flow. Watch where he gets grabbed. He's got him by the arm.
Yeah.
That disrupts your balance. So the fact that he can actually get away from having his hand held and catches that up against his shoulder, manages to get his feet down as well. Terrific catch.
Absolutely. Absolute beauty that is.
All right. Next one. Is this one. So, deeper curl route, gets separation on quick feet, gets the first down here. So 2nd and 8, backed up a bit at your own 10-yard line. You need a bit of space. First quarter winding down. May, eyes locked in on him. He gets 10 yards or so and a first down.
And again, that's where I think it's going to come very useful to us. Every quarterback needs that guy who can get, separated very quickly.
I think you can see it better on this here.
2, 3, about 3 seconds, and there he is. He's come back from his... The men can't deal with how... I don't think there's an eliteness for stop-starting, but the way he just stops on a dime to create those extra couple of yards, it seems to be every time he's able to just get that little bit extra he needs. And then it gives him the time to bring in the reception without, the DB being able to make a play on it. Again, critical what you need. That's a clutch situation. They're right backed up. And that D-line sort of coming at you, May's not got much time to throw the ball before they're swarming him. And there he is. Again, something I really like about him.
So I just had a message from Brent there saying stream suspended for policy violations. But if I just reloaded, we're still up. So can anyone else watching this advise whether the stream is suspended for them as well? Because I can still see it.
Let me have a look. Yeah, I can see it. Playing that, I think.
All right, yeah, that's weird.
Now.
Okay, cool. So hopefully there's no issue there. I mean, I know it's just a game, but we are talking over it. So this should theoretically be allowed on YouTube. There should be no issue with this. I mean, it's freely available on YouTube, so there should be no copyright violation because it's on there already. Mike just said just reloaded after suspending, so cool. All right.
Yeah, he can see it now.
Right, so our next play is 34-49, which is here. So for this one,
Israel. This
makes
me so sad.
Oh, such a good player. So going down the seam, has outside leverage, interfered with question marks. So I think this might be one of his ones that he doesn't actually bring in, but we'll see. So you can see at the top of the screen, doesn't quite beat his man here, but he gets tugged down big time.
Yeah, you can see how much trouble he's given his DB. And that's what I mean. If he comes up to the NFL with us and he gets in and he gets one-on-one, if you can start getting these sort of calls, these interference, this is what you want to see. The DB can't deal with him. He's just from the snap. Watch him. So that stutter step, he's got the yard on him already. And that guy's just hands, trying to make the play. You can't do that.
No. He stumbles because of the contacts. It's so obvious.
And it's all because of that starting stutter step, the release pack. And I know say the release is limited, but the footwork allows for a little bit of diversity there. And it's just so hard to stop. You might know it's coming, but if he gets a yard on you, in any situation, it's just hard to stop, no matter how, often it's repeated.
Carlton just said YouTube was down, back up now. Dan Pask has subscribed at Tier 1, his 16th month. He said, really enjoyed these shows last year. Thanks, guys. Cheers, Dan. Appreciate you. All right. Our next play. Deep curl. Creates plenty of separation. Turns upfield for an 18-yard gain. Another example of him coming back to the quarterback, catching the ball and turning upfield for Yak. It's great. It's great to watch. Yeah. UNC down 10 at this point, by the way. 2nd and 10. So this is a point in the game where if you don't, start converting for some more first downs, putting points on the board, the game can get away with you. Deep in your own territory at the 25. At the top of the screen, May rolls out, turns upfield, fights through that contact, takes 2 guys to bring him down.
But look at the turn. The turn is just like sort of almost elite here, how he just sort of gets out the way of it.
May rolls out, nice pass.
Look at that.
On the run.
Turn, it's so smooth and seamless.
Yeah.
Defender just can't get his hand on him. He's gone. And he's lucky that there's someone covering with him. So if that's one-on-one coverage, he's done. He's dusted.
And the very next play is this one that I talked about. Shallow crosser. So this is a scramble drill, catches at centre field, turns upfield for a 50-yard gain. Can't quite finish it. But this is an example of what he can do, and what he can do in scramble drills is looking back for his quarterback and saying, what can I do for you in this situation? Really great to watch this. So top of your screen at the moment, comes across shallow, stops, and then goes behind the defenders deliberately. Nice block, and then running upfield, gets caught from behind. Can he beat the last guy? And then he kind of just gives up for another couple of yards instead of trying to cut it infield. But we'll just watch it again. And
see, I like the feet on early that as well. It's just these small minor things, but it's 2 steps to get him going towards the outside, which gets him on.
Crosses shallow, stops, sees room behind the defenders, and
so stop it there. It's just, you see, this is it here. You just see the 1 step across, and he's got, there you go, just the little feet upfield. I just love that foot movement just to get him that little extra. I mean, maybe he should have just trusted himself to go inside and bulldoze the DB who's off his feet, but I can see what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
But like you say, it's getting to his quarterback, presenting him much. And you've seen many examples, even in the bad video, where he's there for May if he needs him, especially when he's scrambling. He's always thinking, he's always like, where can I be for my quarterback? He doesn't give up on these ones.
Yeah. Okay, next one is at 108 after I spill my cider everywhere, which is not a great look. Okay, so this one is another shallow crosser. So takes it in stride, can't quite get the first down here. So UNC 3 down, coming towards the end of the half, pits side of the field, but if you don't convert here, you might be outside of field goal range still, so important you get the first down. While he makes the catch and he's coming across shallow, which we don't see him do very often, so that's encouraging. The fact that he doesn't be a bit more decisive here kind of annoys me. You'll see what I mean now. But coming across from the top of the formation, blitz is coming, but they pull out of it. Crosses, takes that. His momentum is actually taking him backwards, but he just
I think he needs that, though. I think he has to come back. Otherwise, I think he gets tackled straight out the gate. That was my initial reading of what I saw there. I could be wrong. But if you look at it again, I think he needs to take that step back to avoid contact.
Right.
So I'm not too fussy about that.
I really thought that we'd see a replay of that, so I'll go back instead. Hang on.
I just think he needs to take that step back. That could just be a me thing.
Right, here we go. So let's slow this down and see what we see.
I think he just has to come a little back, but...
So top of the formation.
Yeah.
Pitch show blitz. So May's thinking get it out quick. They pull out. Green releases low.
And look at the guy in front of him. There he is. I think he has to come back because otherwise that guy's going to make a tackle. And I think that guy's going to make a move on him there.
So what?
Because look how he just gets out of his grasp.
He just gets out of his grasp here. But what I want to see him do at this point is just to go straight forward. He kind of looks up and waits, and that allows people to catch up to him. I think if he goes straight for it, he might get the
To be
first
honest,
down.
to be honest, if his receiver friends block him for him there, I think the decision's made. I think he's waiting for the block. I
Yeah,
mean,
maybe.
again just have a quick look, but I've criticised him for his blocking, but I think his teammate's guilty there because I think he has an option to go to the perimeter if his teammate is blocking, just a tiny bit. But I think when you see him stop and have a look, his I don't know which one of them it is out there,
Right. At
but
full
they're not
speed.
blocking right. Yeah. So
it
he comes across. He has to come back. He just evades the tackle, and look where his teammate just pulls out the block.
If
and
he
I
blocks
think
him off, he can bounce outside, and that's easy.
why he's waiting. I think I'm happy for that there because I think he thinks the block's coming and it doesn't, and so he has to sort of get out of dodge. So,
but I think the shallow crosser is not really something that people think he can do, and catching in traffic, running, hitting it on the run, and being able to turn upfield is a strength of his. So I really like what I'm seeing.
I think it's all. I think it's a lot of this is scheme limitation, and people have noticed with UNT it is a very simple offense. This is why the route tree is not diverse. Even sort of Josh Downs, who was the big receiver coming out of there, that's the knock on him as well. Is that the tree is not fully there because UNC do not require it. That's not how they play. And you've seen Daz Newsome and De'Armey Brown have both come up and struggled because again they flourished in this sort of system, but coming up to the NFL, you've got to diversify yourself a bit. So it's all about whether Green can or not. But you could quite well do a lot of these, but it's just like you say, when you're seeing the shallow crosses, we've had to wait till video 3 to see it.
Yeah,
that's what it's just not very. It's not me saying it can't. It's just you don't see it enough to evaluate to know if he can. All the time.
Right, so this one, quick feet to beat the press at the line, finds a hole in cover 2, makes a nice sideline catch for 20-yard gain here. So, again, nice bit of fighting on the outside, beats his man, comes back.
Look at the space. I mean, I don't know if the defense gives up on this a little bit, but, you've got to work with what you're given, and he's there. I mean, out you go.
Lovely throw as well.
And the toe tap, I know it's not a spectacular one, but again, it's awareness of where he is, making sure that the toes are down, the catch is done first. It's just little things like that, again, that I like. They may seem very simple, but I like to give dues where it's due. It's just awareness. And again, the space. Drake, I need an out. Oh, look, there's my guy. Look, 3 guys, and he's miles away. And if this is thrown a little in front of him, he could maybe have gone for it. I mean, it's a good throw, but he's his body's opened up for it to be in front of him as well and to go down the field. So
141, 3 more left, and then a very brief discussion, and I need to get out of dodge. So 141, 49. This play starts very quickly, so he's at the bottom here. Beats man at the line, creates separation with a nice instep, runs to the outside corner, so the left-hand corner as he's seeing it, catches at midfield in stride, and then has a nice bit of yak for 24 yards. So one of the few examples where we see him not running shallow, but running across the field. So beats his guy inside, and then hits that lovely step.
It's the feet. The feet off the line of scrimmage and the feet when he just sort of inverts, like right towards the middle of the field. It gives him that. That's where his separation comes through his feet. Look, it's off the line, stuck step. He's already got a yard. You can see the DB like, oh God, and then you see him come inside. Just there's 2 yards there.
But then turning upfield and gaining an extra 6 there, where there could be none if you turn the wrong way.
Yeah, and aggression. He's literally carrying him on his back for some of that.
Yeah.
And again, it's the aggression, but it's the technical ability as well. It's just a shame we didn't get to see more of it. But again, when he was needed, because you're 1st and 15, you're 5 yards back. Again, you need some big yards. You want a big time player that you can go to.
Right, so this is a curl at the sticks, comes back for the ball and catches in heavy traffic for a 9-yard gain. So he actually does run pretty much all the way to the 50, but comes back quite a long way. So he's been given a big cushion. Oh no, it's more than 9. Sorry, beg your pardon. That's 13.
Contested. Got a guy
Yeah.
draped over his back.
Let's see if we see a replay of this, because it would be nice. But they're going tempo, which is a bit annoying because he can't get a replay out.
I mean, you can see when he's making the catch, he's got a guy draped all over him. And again, this is what you want as an X. You need contested catchability as well. So you're not always going to get the separation you want. But there he is.
But that he's touching him already.
Yeah.
So it's great catchability there.
Yeah, doesn't drop it.
Quite a low ball again as well.
Hmm.
I would say only where his guy can get it, which is good from May.
Oh, yeah. There's not many throws that May makes in these, and you're like, ooh, that's not good. For the most part, they're bang on. They're terrific.
Right, and the last one is right here, which is the back-breaking touchdown for Pitt. So, in the red zone, from the 13, runs up the seam, turns around for a back shoulder snag. Seems to be a thing of his.
Yeah.
So, beats him on the outside, turns around, just lovely. Little bit of contact, but only his guy can get it. Lovely throw by May, good body control by Green. Exactly what you want to see.
Yeah.
Be a replay.
I love the guy. I say that I love the guy just pointing at the screen there, just like, yeah, that was something.
So, I mean, Green went for 10 catches, 108 yards, and 2 touchdowns here.
So look, contact, the DB's contact, I know it's legal, but, you know, he just doesn't let it bother him. He doesn't get involved in hand-fighting shenanigans. He's just like, right, I'm going to carry out my assignment.
Let's slow this down here. So,
hands on, look, he's looking for the ball, and there he is. It's just flips great in the air, contorts his body exactly where it needs to be. Doesn't even go down. Just positions himself so well.
He manages to do as much fighting as the defender is doing with him, but his is more effective. And that's why...
He gets the leverage, again. He just gets in a position where the DB can't do it with him at him. Look where he is. Just a little push off. Is that put? No, that's not put. A little bit of a push off there, but minor compared to what the DB's doing to him. But again, I like the aggression. He gives as good as he gets. He gives as good as he gets.
The stream has gone down again for policy violations, which is a bit frustrating. But we finished now with that bit.
Are we back up again?
Oh, it's back on again now.
There we go.
I don't understand why this is doing this all the time. But anyway, so that's us. What did you have to kind of finish off about Antoine Green? What do you think his role's going to be for the Lions?
So, I mean, despite all the things I've said, and that I think there's a position for him straight away if he makes his way onto the roster. Because I think that we don't have a him on this team really at the minute. I don't think we have anyone who can create that much separation on the perimeter, who is, you know, quite aggressive in the way that he plays. You've got the yak ability there as well. I just think he's something that we don't have. And, you know, that's why they've gone and got him. I think there's a place for him right away. I think we might shock people. I think, you know, you can throw the deep bomb to him if you want. People think, well, Jameson Williams is, you know, sat on the sidelines for 6 weeks. They're just going to do the dink and dunk with Amon-Ra and stuff like that. But he gives you the opportunity to be a lot more expansive, and he gives you the opportunity to go under the radar. And you're getting one-on-one in press. Someone trying to be aggressive against you, he can beat you on the line of scrimmage and create separation very quickly. So even if it's not a deep field bomb, you know, he can get 8, 9, 10 yards just by the way he's able to create that separation, whether it be beating his man down the line or the way he just stops and comes back to the ball so effortlessly. So,
yeah,
I think there's a role for him this year, generally, especially without Jamo and team. And again, I keep mentioning Jamo. I don't think they're the same type of receiver at all, but for the role that we want a guy who can create separation and who's going to be a threat on the perimeter. These guys just do it in different ways. But but I still think there's that position for him there right away. So if you were to tell me he was the first reception of this season, I wouldn't be, I wouldn't be surprised. Now, obviously, the cons, you've seen it, the blocking, for me, the willingness needs to be there a lot more. I think it's like, I see him block on the screens. That's when he's supposed to. But then there's a lot of plays where he could improvise and help out where he doesn't. And that's willingness. I'd like to see that more. And I think with this team, that will be drilled into him more. So it's a problem now. And again, this is why he's not. I mean, if this guy blocked really well, he might have gone in the 4th round, the 5th round, all these little bits in there. But it's why he's a day 3 pick and a late one. So I do have issues with him. I do. Probably more so than when I did the tape, but at the same time, I see plenty that I like, and I see plenty that this team doesn't have. So I'm quite bullish about this. And Randall L has been able to do great with receivers. When we draft them and trying to develop them, we've seen how good he can be with them. Obviously, we've not seen the Cephas experiment has fallen short because of injury and stupid suspensions and that. But with Amon-Ra, you've seen the development in his game, just how he's been able to level up everything he does.
Yeah.
And there's no one else I'd trust more with him.
I think Quintez was actually a person I was going to bring up here, because I think in terms of ability to catch the ball, we have just shown you his worst game, his medium game, and his best game for the most recent season. We showed you every ball thrown at him in those games. Apart from the ball that was underthrown by May that was deep, that he had to come back for, and the defender was in a good position to defend it. If that was out in front of him, I would say that he caught, apart from the touchdown, which he dropped, he caught every ball thrown his way. And that was 16 catches or so in between those 3 games. He's got good hands. His route running ability, he's willing to fake people out. It's not as refined as it could be, but he's got good feet. His release package at the line is not especially versatile. He could get bullied at the line by physical DBs, perhaps, but he seems to beat quite a lot of people off the stop. He's got a nice kind of 1, 2, 3 step shimmy sort of thing to try and beat people at the line, which I really like. He stops on a dime. He doesn't come back to the ball enough. I want to see a bit more from him because I think it's there. It's just that UNC didn't show it. There's a little bit that here and there, like the shallow crosses, they definitely need that to be a thing, because you can see it there. When he's scrambling, he looks for the space and goes and hits it. That 50-yard one where he couldn't quite finish it off, he stops, looks at the defenders, and purposely goes behind them because he knows that May can hit him there, whereas he can't hit him where it is. A lot of people might just run somewhere else in the hope that you're free then. He actually thought about it. And I really like that, because it's on the fly. It's not designed.
Exactly. And that's where I hold out hope here. I see the attributes that I need to see. I see the aggression as an outside receiver. I see the ingenuity on plays that might be busted otherwise, where he's always looking to get involved in the play. This is purely on the blocking side, where I'd like to see the same sort of creativity. It's like, how can I get involved? How can I help? And that maybe just being too critical. I don't know. I could well be. I did feel like I was being a bit harsh sometimes, but again, at the same point, I want him to succeed because, again, I don't think we have anyone like him on this team, and I think there is a space for him here. I think too many of our receivers are a little bit samey sometimes, and you do need to diversify what you have. So I see what I need to see, and I think a lot of the flags I have are to do with the fact that UNC runs such a simple offense. They are not required, and I've seen this through multiple receivers coming who I have liked. I loved Daz Newsome the other year. And again, he sort of had the speed, he had what you needed, and he ended up with the Bears, who can't develop receivers to save their lives. He ended up with possibly the worst team there. I'd still love to get my hands on him now, but I think Antoine Green comes into a very good situation here, and providing he's willing to work, which I think he is, he could be a very good pickup for us. But like I say, the first challenge for him is making the roster. This all comes down to how much he wants it and how much he's willing to put in, because, they will go out and find free agent wide receivers or undrafted free agent wide receivers, and they will put them in his place. getting drafted means nothing, and he needs to know that. But
Yeah.
I like to think we've got our handle on guys, personality-wise. I don't think there's any of the guys who they've brought in these two drafts who I've got an issue with that, their personality, their work ethic, anything like that. I think they specifically find guys who fit that criteria. So I'm hopeful. There are
Yeah.
some things that annoy me, but I see what I need to see that he might make a success here, and I'm really rooting for him.
I think the thing for me is that people call him a deep ball merchant and think that's all he can do. And very clearly, that isn't all he does. He does well doing that, but those little comebacks, those little curls and hitches and crosses, he has demonstrated he is capable of doing those things. So it's not like he just runs go balls. That is not all he is. A lot of development to do. I think that we've got a little diamond in the rough here, though. Anything else you just want to say before we sign off?
Did we not have a question to answer at the end of all this?
That we've addressed it. What's his place on the roster? How are we using him? So,
the one thing I've not really checked out is the special teams history, because obviously there's going to be that as well. But I'm pretty sure he's done special teams before, so
yeah, he has.
That would be. In fact, I had the notes done up somewhere.
I wouldn't worry about it at this point.
But no, I think there's a lot to like. I can see why they drafted him. You're throwing darts in there, but you're looking for the base fundamentals that can make a really good player, and I see that with him. So, yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing how well he does, and I think, like I said, I think we might see him in the first few weeks. I think we might see him in the first game. I don't think they'll be afraid to put him out there if he earns his spot.
All right, so that's the end of our show on Antoine Green. If you've enjoyed this video, please help us support doing more of these by doing all the good stuff on YouTube and Twitch. You know what to do. Our next video in this series will be maybe this time next week, still TBC with me and Ant, and hopefully we can make it for next week. But we'll be having a look as much as we can at finding tape on these guys. Corby Solstall, the tackle from William and Mary, and Broderick Marsden, defensive tackle from Western Kentucky. We'll be having a look at them next week. On the main show, we have got a look ahead to 2024 and the free agency period for that. So basically, who is on a one-year deal at the Lions? Who are we losing? What holes does that potentially create on the roster? Who's available potentially around the league? So just kind of having a brief look ahead to that. So guys, hope you've enjoyed this video. We'll see you tomorrow for the podcast. And cheers for that, mate. Really good fun. Guys, watching live, appreciate you. We'll see you soon. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Take care.